Hey guys, it's Shally here. Today I wanted to record a video. I wanted to get into, the good stuff. The question that I always get asked is, how do you be a mom and a medical student at the same time? So there's no short answer to that question, and I thought maybe I would just record a quick video on kind of, my story, and also maybe giving some advice to some people who are thinking about maybe having a baby in medical school. So I found out that I was pregnant. It was about 2 months into medical school, but I actually got pregnant in the second week of medical school, and it was totally a surprise, a good surprise, but it was totally a surprise. So that was a big thing to deal with in your first, not even your first year, your first 3 months of medicine, to find out that there's also going to be this other huge life change. So it was a big shock, and I think definitely one piece of advice that I would give to anyone thinking about having a baby in medicine is that if you are thinking about doing it, to just plan ahead. Obviously babies come when babies come, but maybe if you try to plan it so you could do it at a time where there's kind of like a natural break in your program, that's probably the ideal situation. I had my son, he came a little bit early. He came about 7 or 8 weeks early, but I had him kind of midway through my second semester. I wasn't actually supposed to have him until the end of my second semester, and so I came up with a plan with the faculty of medicine at my school that I was going to write my final exams whenever the rest of the students who had to do a remediation exam, I was going to write my only exams in remediation. So that was the plan. Things did not go to plan, and that's something that you have to be aware of in pregnancy or with children, is that things often do not go to plan at all. So I ended up actually, because my son was in the NICU, in the neonatal intensive care unit, for so long, I actually finished the semester and wrote my exams before he came home. That wasn't easy. I make it sound easy, but that wasn't easy. But in that sense, I guess you could say it worked out in the sense that I got to finish my semester and he didn't come home like a week before exams or something. But to be honest, I would have just been happy to have him home whenever at that stage. So I actually ended up having quite a complicated pregnancy even before my son was premature. I had this great thing called fibroids, and if you haven't heard of them, they're just these really annoying, totally, for the most part, harmless things in your uterus, growths in your uterus, and they just cause you so much pain. Because of the hormones in pregnancy, they just grow really quickly, and then they grow too quickly for their own good, and then they don't have enough blood supply, and then they die, and when they die, they're just so incredibly painful. So I actually was admitted to the hospital a couple times just because of the pain from those fibroids, and I ended up having to take a lot of time off in my first trimester because I was in so much pain from these fibroids. And then when the fibroid pain finally died down, I had a few weeks of just smooth sailing, had lots of energy, everything was going really, really well. And then we found out about my son was diagnosed with bilateral pleural effusions in utero at about 30 weeks. So I guess that would be my second piece of advice, is don't expect things to go to plan. You kind of have to plan for the worst case scenario. I mean, you can never prepare yourself to find out that your child's going to be sick, and you can never prepare yourself for, the twists and turns that, a pregnancy might throw you. But I think, in my mind, because my mom had two really normal pregnancies, and I'd never really known anyone who had a complicated pregnancy, really. So I kind of just assumed that mine would go the same as everyone else's had. And so I think it's really good to just be aware that, unfortunately, things can get crazy. Pregnancies, just, you don't know what you're going to get. So just be aware of that and be prepared that in the event that, you know, maybe you're not going to be able to finish as much of your school before you have the baby as you had planned, that's okay, and that you'll just come and pick up back when you start. And on that note, I think it's also really, really important to have an open conversation with your faculty of medicine, and, you know, let them know as soon as, you know, you feel comfortable to tell them that you actually are pregnant. I think probably keeping it a secret just makes things like even worse for you, because you will need days off. Even just a regular maternity appointment, like for us here in Australia, we have public and private healthcare. I was a private patient, so some days I'd have to wait 3 or 4 hours for my maternity checkups. That's just how it's done. So yeah, just let the faculty know, and they should try to support you as much as they possibly can within the realms of the program. My faculty were very supportive. They gave me time off when I needed time off. Even one of the faculty members, even when I didn't ask, said, you know, here, you have an extension on your assignment. And, you know, she actually arranged for me to have special exam considerations that I wouldn't even have thought to ask for, but it was actually really, really helpful for me to have those special considerations. So, yeah, I think working with the faculty, and, you know, they kind of do know what's best. I mean, you know what's best for you, but they do know the program, and they know what's coming up ahead. And I think probably, you know, they probably didn't expect me to continue on after I had my son and he was so sick. But that was a personal choice that I made, but they supported me 100% whenever I made that choice. So that was really, really good. So I think the other thing I would like to say in terms of when is a good time to have a baby, whenever you're a medical student and then you go straight into junior traineeship, which is very intense. And then you go into your training for your specialty. So when is a good time to have a baby? There is no good time to have a baby. I would say in medicine, the best time to have a baby is before you start, if you're in such a place that you could consider having a baby before you start, or after you've done all your training. Those are the only two, quote unquote, I think, good times to have a baby. Anything in between is going to have its challenges. Oftentimes I heard kind of like consultants or registrars tell me, oh, you're so lucky you're having a baby in medical school. And, you know, if I were to have a baby now, or when I had my babies and I was an intern or reg, it was so hard. And like, yeah, I'm sure it was really, really, really hard. But it's also really hard to be pregnant and have a baby in medical school. You don't have any financial, here in Australia anyways, you don't really get much financial support beyond your, I think you get 26 weeks of parenting payment, and then you're kind of expected to go back to work. Any kind of assistance for studying is assessed based on your family income. So if your partner's working, it's not likely that you're going to get any assistance from what we call Centrelink here. So to help you to get through your studies. So you probably will have to work and be a mom and be a medical student, so which is what I do now. So just be aware of that. That's a lot to have on your plate. At least, I guess, whenever you finish medical school, you just have the mom and the doctor. You only have like those two hats to put on, and you don't have to actually put on the third hat. Obviously, if you're in a financial position where, you know, you think you can get by just on a single income and still pay for your medical studies, then that's great as well. You know, maybe that would be a great time to consider having a baby, because in medical school is a good time to have a baby in the sense that it's a lot more flexible, because you're not actually paid to be there, even though you're expected to be there, and you still do need to go and do things. But whenever, you know, if my son's sick, I can stay home with him, and obviously I would still be able to stay home with him if I was a doctor, but it's just there's no one there relying on me to be there. There's no one, like, you know, needing me to sign off on things. There's no one there needing me to do paperwork and things like that. So in that sense, I guess having a baby in medical school that's a pro, but there just aware that there also are a lot of cons. Now that I'm a mom in medical school, I'll just talk about this briefly because I'll probably do another video on that altogether, but the summary of being a mom in medical school, you do not get a lot of time for yourself or for your partner. You basically just have to go to school, come pick up your child from either the nanny or from daycare. I use both. My son's he's going to be 2 next week actually, and he goes to daycare 3 days and he's with his au pair for 2.5 days. So he's actually with other people more than he's with me. And then I come straight home and I spend what quality time I have with him. And then after he goes to sleep, that's whenever I get to do my studying, or this is my fun recording these videos, because this is something I've always wanted to do. So this is, I take 7 or 8 minutes for myself every day and I just record a video, and that's really cool. And then for me to work out, it was a long time that I wasn't able to work out, which was really, really difficult for me. Now I just get up really early. So if I get up at like 7, even though sometimes I have time to squeeze in a workout, if I get up at 7, that means Jonas will also get up at 7. If I get up at 5, he's too lazy to get up at 5, so he'll stay asleep if I get up at 5. But yeah, so I have to get up quite early to squeeze in a workout before I go off to the hospital. So it's just some things to consider. I think that's probably really quite a negative video. There are a lot of really great things about being a mom, and I will definitely talk about those things over the time that I'm doing this channel. But I think when it comes to being a mom in medical school, just understand that it's going to be very, very hard, but very, very rewarding. So that's it for now. Keep moving, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. I'm currently working on a workout video, just getting the editing done, so that should be up really soon.